Thanks for tuning in. We are exploring the impact of extracurricular activity on students' behavior and academic performance, and discussing the strategies for schools to address pressing social issues like bullying, substance abuse, and mental health. So joining us to discuss this crucial topic today is Dr. Edohoeket Eshiet, a counseling psychologist with expertise in supporting students' mental health and all that concerns students. Doctor, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Lydia.
The pleasure is
You
always
have started
ours.
Christmas with your red.
It's how
I have started.
It's how she has started.
And you have joined me, doctor. With your bow tie
you infected
and-
me, so
Oh. It's all right. It's all good. Thank you so much for joining us again today, Doctor. Okay, so let's get started. We are talking about extracurriculum activities. In the past days, we've seen lots of reports. In fact, I had a lot of reports from parents who were complaining that these days school seems to be so focused on activities and within the classroom, the four walls of the classroom, just academia, you know. So that this taking away extracurricular activities from students is kind of impacting them negative. And some are saying that this is the genesis of the social vices we have in schools. So I'm going to start like asking you like this. What's your take on this assumption?
yes, thank you. That's a good way to start assumption. From the word assumption simply means it may not necessarily be
The truth.
the truth, but you have some facts in it, and everybody has a right to allay certain factors as being responsible for certain things. Actually, the thing is, human beings in psychology is what we call psychosocial dimension of man. That is biology. We are a biological being. That means we growth and development. Then social, I mean, we are thinking, we have aspirations, we have feelings. Then social, we now find ourselves in the midst of people. So we have to develop these dimensions. That means intellectual stimulation, that is the cognitive aspect. Then we grow physically with time and age, and we develop capacity. Then at the same time, we are able to relate.
Okay.
So which means that learning or growth or school systems should incorporate all these dimensions sufficiently. So that's where you now have the curricular activity, which is mostly academic for you to earn grade and keep on growing. Then extracurricular activity, which means not necessarily for you to have a grade, but it adds to your total development, holistic upbringing. So what is the essence of having those non-regular class activities?
Yeah.
It allows the student to vent out some of the excesses of their strengths, their feelings, their excitement in such a way that they are not constrained, like sport, social engagement, interaction, community service, art, drawing, clubs, whereby they are not constrained by this craze for marks and position, but they just want to express themselves. So what happens is that when we don't have enough room for some of those energies to be dissipated, the person may now tend to dissipate it in a way that is negative, which can be said to, okay, it's one of the reasons people bully, fight, and the rest. So it's just an aspect. It is not a total reason why those things happen. But in a summary form, where school system has not allowed people to express that dimension, it affects the total development of a child, and may also be a part of why sometimes students express themselves in a way that is negative, because that energy has to be expressed, but not totally why it is so.
Okay, I agree with you, not totally. But then, could there be reasons why parents are beginning to speak out about this issue now?
Yes. For us here, we should be at least in an age that we have seen different ways schools are being run. One, schools were in a sprawling center. When I mean sprawling is like when you see a community school, you see farmlands, you see fields, we have to cut grass, we make ridges, we do all those things, we do crafts. it's always a day for PE. That time they call it PE, physical education.
Education, yeah.
Mostly I know Thursday, some school Wednesday, all kinds of play, running, cycling, everything in the school. In fact, you look forward to that day. And you know that your school uniform will be dirty. Then after that, you go to the stream. You may only have about maybe 2 classes that day.
Oh, okay.
After that, it's all about play. And so it makes people to be totally developed. And the pressure of this mental load was not there. But fast forward now, one society is becoming a bit more toxic. That even to allow people to play is even a problem in school. And then 2, the kind of education system we have now, we have many schools in places that don't even have where people can self-express.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of factors. Like Tekuyo Metropolis now, very few schools, as a private-owned school, have space to even run around. You just see only a building. So there are a lot of things. And then the education system has been left to be all-comers affair. It is the school's owners that now decide what they think education should be.
True.
It's just like this industry, this broadcast industry. There is a standard that is set for every broadcast station to work in that dimension. That's why sometimes they will place a fine on your program because there is a standard procedure, programs, content. But you see that in the school system, every school seems to be running their own philosophy. You see someone say we are blending German and Nigerian. So I asked them, are you a Korea center for students to Germany? You don't even understand the one we have. So even calendar, you see, we start today, the other one will start tomorrow. The same with textbooks. You know that there are different textbooks in different schools.
True.
So there's a breakdown in the way schools are run. So now parents are becoming worried because there's so much of pressure on the child to perform. This performance creates that is becoming a problem. So the children are having mental health. The child is afraid because assignment they give, the homework, they can't even know. Even you, the parent, you don't even know the homework. If you help the child to finish the homework, they will still mark it wrong. So parents are now getting worried that our children don't have time to express. No place to run. One, facilities are not there in most private schools that we attend for them to even run around. That's safety. There must be a safe place child can even run around. Then coming to our own public schools that still have those facilities, you'll be surprised, go to some places like now government are trying to fence all the schools around. You have incursions into school that now some schools don't even do inter-house sport because there's always infiltration during games. So it's a reflection of a society. We are tilted away from what really matters. And so what we see is not a happening of just yesterday. It's a lot of, we have, been moving from the real center of what school should be. And the summary is that policymakers, school administrators, and those that enforce it have not been able to do the right thing. That's why we're having different orientation about what school should look like.
Okay. So, Doctor, I've had to listen attentively, and trust me, you're always doing a good job when you're trying to put these ideas to bear.
Thank you.
But you see, I've personally, thought through while you were talking, and I realized the same parents who encourage these things are the ones crying foul. Oh, yes. I wish we had proper statistics, and I would say, like you had started from the foundation, where they used to have physical and health education and also have farming days. Because I remember back in the days, students used to learn how to cultivate. In as much as the teachers also took advantage of using the children as their mowing machine and all sorts of agricultural implements in the name of doing practical. So, but I also know that at the inception, as private schools started coming on board, each school had those extracurricular activities, and then Because of that, some parents tilted towards, accepting it until the financial burden of these things. Because some are so financially oriented.
Yeah.
That you spend fine. You spend so much money on extracurricular and you're asking yourself, is this what I bargained for? And then talking about that space, no matter how small, they'll still try to utilize it against the comfort and safety of those children. So I'm asking myself, is it about the school owners or the parents here? And I want you to help me out.
Edith, on the way, always put your questions. You cook it very well. You just mentioned an aspect. Some extracurricular is not what we used to have.
Back then.
For example, to say music. That music is paid for. Some school is about 30,000, some 40, and you must have
music instruments. In fact, that's a big one.
Then you now have ballet. To do the ballet, they tell you they will bring someone to come and teach. So you are paying, that is another 30,000, 40, 20. So the extracurricular activity now, in quote, is not, it is a money generating
venture for the schools.
But they will give you a reason, because we are bringing someone, we don't have the teacher here. So you now see that, like you said, now it's not a burden. So schools, that activity your child cannot, because I've seen some of the schools payment, you see this actual payment, everything. Then this one will now be extracurricular. If you want to try to swim, want to do this, want to do that, want to do that, they are all paid.
Optional.
They're optional, but you have to pay it. Not that it's okay today, this is what we want to do, everybody will take part.
Like the PE.
So everybody is looking for everything to make money. Like all these cultural days, if you have 2 children for cultural days, it's like as if you want to go for a marriage, because you will buy and buy and buy and buy.
And God help you, the child.
So the challenge is that, like I said, there is a problem of leadership in our society, and as reflected in every dimension, so that every player decides where the goalpost should be. So you don't have a standard way of doing things. It's only, thank God for what happened. They're trying to streamline. I think almost every school now will close the same day. Before, one school will have closed 1 week, the other will close the second week. And things just run like that. So the thing is that in the name of development, in the name of liberalizing the system, we allow things to go out of control. And this is the snack. The person that was to control is the one that is defaulting. What am I saying? Most of the people at the point of leadership are the owners of the schools. Either they own it, or their wives, or their brothers or their sisters. So one way or the other. So you can't regulate what you are perpetrating. So a lot needs to be done. So it's not a problem of that the parents wanted it. It's just that, like I said, there's no control. The PTA we have, is just in name these days.
Okay.
Especially in private schools. Some don't even call it PTA again, because an association, you must have a institution, a constitution. They just call it Parents Forum.
Yeah.
Which means they just call you and give you a report and tell you, not that you sit down and
give opinion
on how it should be done. The reason is that there is no proper monitoring and implementation of what the school should look like. That's where we have the problem.
All right, now let's talk about the impact of these extracurricular activities on students. Does it really, really have any impact on the well-being of students?
Wow. When you say extracurricular, it simply means it is not the main activity in the classroom. It is added, it's an outside of it. So what are the things that form part of it? You're talking about like sports, swimming, basketball, running, and the rest, clubs, debates, science club, cultural clubs, and all those things. Then you now have career and technical organization. You can have people, you have like JET, junior engineers, technicians. You can have different clubs for students to be, so that some of the things that academic work in the class may not be able to bring it up. For example, a child who has oratory ability,
Yeah.
in that one, you now
Debate
see the
club.
thing comes up. So it also helps the system to look at hidden capacities that sitting down in the class will not bring. That may even be what will make that child to fly tomorrow. Like the sport, you discover a child in sport. In singing, ballet, dance, even crafts. And then it builds social skills because, extracurricular is not personal.
Okay.
Unlike the academic work that we are writing tests to be first and second. But extracurricular, there's no way you need people. Even if you want to play a chess, draft, ludo, anything, it makes you to start to build capacity to tolerate, to take turns, to share in a community resources.
Okay.
You play. Even like the bouncing castle, you have to wait for another person to go down. So it begins to regulate patience, empathy, tolerance and leadership. And you take control and then create, because mostly the young children we have now, they grow in this one child home setting that is, the child is caged, is the lord of the manor, is everything. So, but those activities you see, the child now is able to regulate. Self-regulation comes in. Social skills comes in. And these ones may not necessarily be brought out to the open in the main academy. So, and then mental health, because there's a sense of fulfillment. The person scored a goal, this, there's a lot. And then, the emotions are not controlled like the class. So the person you can vent yourself. And then, there's that euphoria of being yourself. So there's a lot. So they now see the child will grow socially.
Okay.
Tolerance is there. And this issue of bullying that we're talking about will become checked because you will need to wait for others to do things.
Exactly.
Okay.
So one way or the other, there's a lot that it does. It creates this community, sense of community in the child.
Now, when you take a look at the child and you see some of these vices like bullying, in the child, does it, spur you to tell the child to go into a particular club? As a psychologist.
Sometimes what is bullying is a behavior that is trying to put other people under. And most of the time, it is energy that is not properly directed. And the child is not being taught how to even channel. For example, anger, is an emotion. But anger has a purpose.
What's the purpose of anger?
Anger can help you to correct things. If I come off this and my phone doesn't work, I don't know, I get angry. That anger can lead me to break the phone or lead me to get someone to repair
fix
it.
the phone.
So for example, like this Nigeria, leaders can get angry how things are going like this. And that anger can be turned positively to say, no, we get to fix this.
True.
But it needs to be channeled. So a child in self-control, hyperactive child who is always looking for activity. So as a psychologist, I will look at it as sports or activity that will always need him to be on the go and let him go there. So his energy will be channeled
properly.
Because since he loves to run, he has to run till when he gets tired. So you can even use it to what? To handle behavioral tendencies. And even the child that is not coming out, so withdrawn, I can use extracurricular to get that child out of her shell. For her to know that, I can do this. Because the school is not all about ABC. It is the totality of the person. And most of the young person or individuals will not necessarily make it in life because of the brilliance of the academic aspect of schooling. But what the school has been able to bring them from them. I know a comparee now, I knew from day one he's not going to practice law because he was always doing comparee. If I mention his name, he's a national brand now. He's from here. He's a lawyer, but from Ibadan, he was always doing company. That's what he does now. I don't know whether he has even seen where any court is. Because that is him.
Yeah.
He's brilliant. He has passed through the law, but it doesn't resonate with what he wants. Because he's always making the jokes to make money. So extracurricular is not just, oh, if we like, we do it. It must be factored into the system. We have 5 days to school. So 1 day is not a waste if we properly utilize it.
All right. You've just said it now. This is one of the strategies schools use to channel energies, to curtail bullies and all that in the school environment. Topic. Let's take some few tweets before we come back to Dr. We have our first tweet here, and it says, education isn't just classroom and exams. It is a discipline to learn, unlearn, and rebuild your mind. The more you know, the more doors open. Sometimes doors you didn't even know exist. Okay, so the next one says extracurricular are an extension of the classroom. When students are engaged beyond the bell, academic achievement takes off. Correct. And then this one says, when we say you should think beyond the classroom, it doesn't mean your academics should become less of a priority. It simply means that while you're building your mind, you should also build exposure, skills, and experiences that prepares you for life after school. And then this one from Elder says, education is far more than going to school. Education is knowing what is worth learning and learning it. There is more to learn outside the 4 walls of the school than in the school itself. Open your mind to learning daily. Okay, so that's all the tweet we have, and they're all pointing out to one thing: the impact of extracurricular activities, right? Doctor, you want to react to any of them before my next question?
Yes, like the first one, he said it's not just learning, we have to learn, unlearn, so that doors can open. What's the purpose of going to school? When you look at the 2 words, root word for education, the first one is edusere, trying to draw out a potential for someone, like drawing water from a well.
Okay.
Then you have educare, which means the needed skills you now impart. But we do more of the second one, trying to teach you what to do, instead of looking at what you're supposed to actually be. Then we channel you in that direction. So like the tweets, what we need to do is to have a balance.
Exactly.
So that people understand that there's always a time to explore the other aspect of life, so that people become balanced, so that you'll not only be a bookworm, but on the streets, you don't know how to go with people. So you need to explore every other available ways of expressing yourself and actually knowing what you can do, because some of the talents you have may not be identified and refined in the academic work you do every day.
Okay.
So how do we streamline those extracurricular and social activities in school so that we don't have more of it or have it overwhelming the academics?
So this is what we need to do. First of all, that's why school needs to have people who are trained properly in the philosophy of education. You need counselors. Even if you can't afford having them, you need to have them come once in a while and go, so that, because for example, curriculum development, a counselor is part of it, to know the weights that this child can carry at this level, these contents. Can this particular level of children undergo it successfully? Then you now plan. So look at, if you look at like a pie chart, so if the real work in the classroom takes 70, that's our academic work, we spread the classes, the laboratory, and the rest 70. So the remaining 30% of the school life now becomes extracurricular activity. So we can now decide, you have sports, you have the day for farm, the day for community, even community service. You take the children to a hospital, a market, they clear the market, they sweep, they do 1 or 2 things to let them know that education is about service also. So if you have 70% of time concentrated on the core subjects and demands of daily school activity, the other 30 you can have club days. Like the school I consulted for every Wednesday,
Okay.
I used to go
club
there.
days.
So the Wednesdays are mostly like their extracurricular. You see the ballet,
Okay.
you see different kind of things. Children bring things from their words, their guitar, and they play. So they have very few classes on that Wednesday. Then the other ones are their activities. So the school look at their unique situation and then have those things.
Okay.
30% of your school work can take care of those things.
Okay.
So it's not a big deal. It's about planning. Planning, and like we said, it should not be another way of generating money for the school.
Okay.
Well, they'll tell you that is left for discussion. You know,
exactly.
somebody builds a school, it's a business. You wouldn't tell them how to run it. Except we have regulatory bodies, just like you mentioned.
You have school fees already collected, so you can do your extracurricular, not be money spinning.
Okay. Now we talk about Eddie. We talk about this lack of extracurricular activities. What does it lead to? You know, the vices we are talking about. Now, what can we do, in your own opinion, to try to curb those vices in schools?
A child has bundles of energy. That's adolescents. They are always having bundles of energy because they eat a lot. Their cells are replicating, and their growth hormones is at the highest level. So they need time to dissipate. One, it has a health implication.
Okay.
That's why you see a lot of children are obese. Because in the house, they don't do anything. In fact, if not that, there's always a distance between the door and the staircase. The car should have entered inside
to pick
the child and dropped. So the child doesn't do anything. So the child now comes to sit down. Like now, school has turned to a workplace, no more what we used to have. Children are now leaving school as if you're leaving this office. They will stay. So a child has been sitting down, they're sedentary. He's adding. And they will eat 2 times in the same school. And not just eating, real food. And there is nothing to burn it. So this activity allows for them to burn calories. So it's also a health enhancing factor.
Okay. Because
sports builds your body. So by having activity where children move intentionally, they will say about they've been running around class. No, intentionally they are free. It helps their what? Their cardiovascular health, because they will have made a lot of steps all over the time.
Yeah.
And then so that affects blood flow, the heart rate, everything, and then mentally. Yeah. When you do sports, the circulation of oxygen all over your body. Then the bone structure, the bones is strong when you use it, when you work.
Okay.
And your feet is connected to almost every organ
part of the body.
So this activity maintains homeostasis, balance. So it is a healthy thing. Then another thing is, like I said, the regulation of social skills. Okay. Because when you engage in this activity, you need to be able to accommodate others, their differences. You may not like your friend, but you are to play football together. You have to swim together. You have to sing together in a choral team. So, and it brings leadership that sitting in the class will not. Not everybody will be a head boy, but this one you cannot be the choir leader. You set up the band. So a lot. It builds skills that the classroom work cannot elicit. And so when that is not there, the child is deprived of that complete development. And then the energy that would have been burned is there. So the child may always fall sick.
Okay.
So the children need that level of what? Energy burning so that they stay fit. They need to stay fit. Just put summary to stay fit. It's part of health.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so are there ways this can also make a child be like you said, mental alertness and everything.
Yeah.
Could it contribute to them to their performance academically?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, when all you do is read, and you don't have time to exercise, it affects the rates of your assimilation. When you do exercise, if you go back, do even a little exercise in your room, suddenly you will feel blood circulate all over your body.
True.
And you have this lightness all over your brain. And because every activity you do, there's a synapse that is created in the brain. The brain creates to store that new activity. And so always having a child who is only there sitting down, they're dormant, also affect the child. So sports has a lot to do with overall well-being of the child. And sometimes, I was telling my students the other day, it could be while you are doing other thing that what you were reading makes sense. You remember, the thing just makes sense. So focusing only on, there's what we call the bell curve. This other person said. The bell curve has to do with learning or even pressure. From 0 to 50, which is the top here, anything here, fatigue comes in. But if it is lower than this, it's lethargy. That means no interest. So people need to walk around this 50, 70, anything here, before you know the person will be weared out. And so a child that is only focusing, reading, has not allowed their brain to rest. Over time, there's going to be what? Fatigue, like diminishing return.
Yeah.
So the child needs a lot of stimulation academically and also a time to pull out and rebuild so that the things they do really take shape.
Yeah, so in all of these activities, are there ones we should discourage and encourage? And if they are, can you give a list of some,
when you
being that you're in the system?
When you say it's extracurricular activity.
And social activities.
Social activities. Yeah.
Like the cultural day.
Yeah, cultural day, clubs.
Day of the African child. They celebrate all sorts of days.
The essence, like I said, is to expose the child to be better. But it should not be allowed such a way that it becomes a vice. The sport should be regulated.
Okay.
That's why, for example, you will not have wrestling.
Yeah.
You won't have boxing. But you can have what?
The tug
running,
of war.
All those small judos that you pull someone down and be so you have to regulate because it's not to harm the child. It's about, and it should be age specific.
I've seen schools bring in karate as a form of defense.
Yes, karate. There's not the school I work with, they do karate. So they have people to join that. So at a certain level, but you have to debrief the children that it is not meant to be used to bully. Because if you do that, your belt is retrieved from you. So it's about proper grooming. And we should not use extracurricular activity as a marketing bet. Oh, at school we have this, because that's the problem. You don't need to make noise about it. It's a normal thing that should be there.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's take this a little bit further now to discuss substance abuse among school children. Some persons say, okay, the lack of this extracurricular activities that breeds this substance abuse, that we have high rate of substance abuse among schoolers, especially secondary schools. But if you go to some of these schools, you see they have these activities, but people still find the time to do these things. So what strategies do schools put in place, to checkmate these social vices among school children?
The challenge we have is that everyone has become an expert. For example, I'm here in the studio today working with you, but I'm not an expert in communication. I didn't do mass communication or any other thing, but fine, I can come to studio, I've done programs, I handle the console, but there are certain things I cannot speak authoritatively because I know I will speak as a layperson. So when people say that we have vices because of extracurricular activity, I have to look at who is the person saying it. Some of these children have this same substance abuse in at home.
Hmm.
Some of them, their parents introduce them to it.
True.
Their siblings introduce them to it. Their nannies, their uncles. So how can the school now be blamed? So, like I said, you don't make a blanket so you can say it's maybe one of the contributing factors.
Yeah,
so we can learn how to
absolutely.
explain.
Absolutely.
The thing is that substance abuse, why do people abuse substance? Stress and pressure. When they don't have the skills to handle their frustrations and they want to blank it out because they are running away from it. So inability to address your social challenges, the problem at work, the problem with your boss, with your friend, with your neighbor, with your wife, then you now look for something to numb it. So you then look for a quick fix. Let me just take something and then no. Let me just go and do this. So what was to be an escape and solution now become the problem that needs to be what? Solved. And then the society, the fabric of society has been torn away. We are now living my life, I life. That's I, not we. And then access to these things have become liberalized. Every 2 blocks from your estate now is becoming a lounge and a hotel.
True.
And a nightclub, strip dancing clubs inside the neighborhood, which was not built for that.
Yeah.
And these children are there. And then we parents are out looking for money. That will never be enough. So the children are now exposed. Nobody is there. Then proper adult mentoring and examples, role models are not there. And then we have accepted permissiveness of culture. So a lot of things are there. So access to these substances. And then in this information liberalization stage, a child knows everything. So, and they have access. They don't even need you. They can buy online and they deliver to them. They smuggle into the school. So it is not a school-centered problem. It's just because this is where these children come to converge in large numbers, so the thing become evident.
Okay. So what do you do as a school authority?
Fine. So now, as a school, you need to, first of all, understand that this is one of the challenges we have as a society. And then you design a program on substance abuse. You have a campaign for it. You have classes for it. You have a counselor who handles it. You have policies, punishment when this is done. So you build security to track down. And when it comes to the surface, you have a clear policy on how to handle it. And also understand that the offender is also a victim that needs help.
True.
Because when you throw sometimes, like in the university that we are, sometimes we are in the Senate and getting a little worried. The offense says if a child does this rustication, to where? The society.
The society. Another school.
Get the point. So can we go beyond deterrence to solution? That's why we need mental reframing. It's a continuous work, advocacy, and we do that early. And the families have to step up their game, because most of the time the families are complaining in the school, but the actual problem is the family. Go to their refrigerators, you see all the alcohols. They have a bar. The person that is complaining that the child is drinking in school has a bar. The house is a bar with all kinds of spirits. And they take this in. So the child is influenced. So now, because they are away from their parents, they now experiment it. So there's a lot of components that need to be looked at it. But as a school that we have these children at this nurturing age, we need to have it. That means we should not deny the fact that it doesn't, we used to deny, they are too small. No, it has happened. We put in what? Solutions in place.
I wanted to argue with you on that part where you say most of these children who perpetrate these acts in school, they get it from home. Most of them get it actually from school. Most of them get it after school. My son came home the other day and he said something. His brother did something to him and he said, you must be under the influence of cheap drug. At first the thing just hit me like, what was that? And then when I questioned, he said he got it from his math teacher. So now, if and as an inquisitive child he is, he might want to understand, okay, what is cheap drug and what is expensive drug? And that could be an avenue to start knowing the different forms of drugs.
So that is why we need proper guidance and discussion. And sometimes, you see, like that case, sometimes we even want to teach drug education. We need to know age-appropriate communication in teaching it, because that teaching can become a stage of curiosity.
Yeah, true.
So that's why I always get back. Let's begin to embrace expertise in every aspect of our national life. Let experts work in school. Let experts work in the TV station. Let experts work when it comes to light. So that they know what to do. If I want to design a curriculum for drug education, what I would design for a child in primary 6 is different from what I would design for a child in
the secondary
SS3.
school. Yeah, true.
The language have to be different, the approach.
All right. Thank you so much,
That's the age of
Doctor.
curiosity.
Thank you so much. We've come to the end of this show today. I don't know if Eddie had another question or...
I'm looking at time,
Okay.
and doctor would always nail it anytime, any day. But time has actually constrained me to putting up another question.
All right, but we can ask him to give us a closing
remark, exactly.
All right, Doctor, if you can do that for us.
Yeah, extracurricular activity is a voluntary, non-academic centered program that pupils, learners engage in school so that they can develop beyond the mental, cognitive aspect. And then school should prioritize it. We know there are challenges of space or monitoring the excesses, but that should not deter us from incorporating it into our systems.
All right. Thank you so much, Doctor, for coming on the show today.
Thank
you for your insight as always.
Thank you, Doctor.
All right, so
viewers.
As we conclude today's episode of Beyond Academics, we hope you've gained valuable insight into the impact of extracurricular activities on students' behavior and academic performance, and strategies for addressing social issues in school. We would like to leave you with a quote, and the quote says, "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." So let's work together to create a supportive environment where Nigerian students can thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. So from all of us in the studios, bye-bye, and thanks for watching again.